Hey all, and welcome to Shadow of Space, and we're commenting on another BCP video. This one is called CNN reporter stunned speechless after Spencer Pratt gives perfect answer to this gotcha question. This was uploaded May 24th. This is being recorded May 25th. And link is in the description.
Republican.
Well, you want to break some news here?
Sure.
It's in my, I've told this before. This is the only time I've ever said this, so this is breaking news. Everyone's going to freak out. When I was a hated reality star, I got so many death threats. I had so much security and police, and what did they tell me to do? Get a gun. This is real. I know people don't like guns, but LA was dangerous if you're hated, so I got a gun. My wife got a gun. And then we needed CCWs. The only people that supported a CCW was the Republican. That was what I aligned with, my safety, my personal safety, my family's safety. I know people don't like guns, but when people are threatening your life and your own security is telling you you need to have home protection, train to, it's not like just I went to the, go through the proper steps. That was my, that's it.
And that was it. And you felt like that party was more pro Second Amendment.
And I know that's a very hot button, but here's the thing. I'm also going to be the mayor that puts LAPD in front of every school to make schools safe from guns. Right now we have
officers to do that?
I talked to a very knowledgeable law enforcement. All you have to do is pick one patrol unit and you give them a nice pin that connects to that school, and that's their street. So they add that one. So that's already part of mine, just because obviously I know people don't like guns, and we need to make everything, especially schools, safe. But that is where I connect to. And once you feel fear, and it's real, you want to protect your family. So,
boy. So we got to talk about Spencer Pratt, who is continuing to make a great impression. I think that he is probably the best thing to happen to our politics in a long time. And we got to talk about this interview on.
Hold on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this.
CNN, because of course they're trying to get Spencer Pratt with gotcha questions, right? They're trying to basically get him to admit that he's MAGA or that he's associated with Trump, because they use Trump in order to smear people now, right? The smear is that, well, see, this guy is he's just Trump, right? He's just trying to be like Trump. And I personally don't think that he's trying to be like Trump. I think that he's his own unique thing.
A unique figure, but you've studied politics. You've got a degree in politics from USC. Fight on that.
Everyone wants me to do that in photos now. I'm like, okay.
Who is your political role model?
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Okay, I mean, that's what.
He was a politician. He had to, he had to go in and.
Are there any modern politicians that you're especially studying or drawn to?
No. I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I want to be a fighter for the people.
But you've mentioned, though, that
Obama, I'm most similar to Obama.
Okay.
And I know the View lady said I don't have a law degree.
I don't know if that's better, but
before November,
okay.
I can get one. Do the baby bar.
But as you've pointed out, that as mayor, you need a lot of advisors and help because it's a giant job in a giant city. And you don't have as much managerial experience of a city, and you've said that you've talked with a lot of different potential advisors who are willing to come on board with you but don't want to say so publicly because of fears about their own safety. Is there anybody, though, that names that you can give us, or the type of people that you're talking to get a better sense of what a Pratt administration would actually look like?
Well, first, let's rewind to what Mayor Bass's past experience running a city when she got elected.
Right.
All she ever did was name a post office.
Can we?
So this idea that she came from...
She had been the Speaker of the Assembly, she had run the Community Coalition, and she had been a Congress member and chair of the Congressional Black Caucus.
None of that connects to managing.
Right, she'd never run a city.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if we're doing like, who knows how to yell at the LADWP for having 2 reservoirs empty, I'm going to be better at that than she clearly is.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, Karen Bass is trying to use her quote-unquote experience and her ability to collaborate, and that she's been in Congress and she knows how to get things done as her pitch for why is it that voters should support her. Even though all this experience, all this so-called collaboration has not solved Los Angeles problems. In fact, the problems are becoming worse, and she wants credit for doing the absolute bare minimum. Bare minimum.
When you talked to Jake Tapper in 2023, you said that your
'Cause-
goal was to
I mean, I talked about this where that's all that matters is recognition for her accomplishments. That's all that she cares about is going down in the history books or as having fixed LA, as having been LA's something something mayor. That's all they care about.
end street homelessness in LA by 2026. It's now 2026.
And we haven't ended it.
We have not
No.
ended it, and we're not close to ending it.
Not
How are you
even.
so off?
Well, basically, when I said that, it was at the beginning of my term. I am very
Because they give Trump stuff, trash, for not solving Ukraine on day one like he was supposed to. Okay, well, homelessness is supposed to be eradicated, and yet it's still there.
committed to achieving that goal. I didn't anticipate some of the bureaucratic barriers that I would experience, but I am prepared to take those on now. And let me just give you an example. Los Angeles made a decision, probably
Haven't you? You've been in there for a while.
20, 25 years ago, to not address street homelessness, to focus solely on building. And granted, I have fast-tracked 42,000 units of affordable housing, but it still takes a couple of years. So basically, the policy of LA City and LA County was we could accept street homelessness as long as we were building. We didn't anticipate the problem metastasizing. In my 3.5 years, for the first time, 2 years in a row, street homelessness has decreased in our city. There hadn't been a decrease before. That
Still haven't gotten rid of
is a
it.
quality of life issue that impacts all Angelenos. Whether you are unhoused or whether you run a business and your business can't function because there's tents outside, whether you're a parent that's trying to navigate through tents to get to school, or whether it's residents where it has decreased the quality of life. So this is a problem that all Angelenos experience.
Wow.
And we have got to have a commitment that this has to end. The city and the county never made that commitment before, and I found something that surprised me. I found a lot of people who work internal in the system who were very resistant to ending street homelessness.
But you promised that it would go away 100%, and it's only gone down about 17.6%.
Right.
So why should people trust you that you're going to be able to get to the 100%?
Because let me just tell you, for the first time, we've had a decrease at all. There was not a decrease.
But the state's homelessness has overall increased by 19%. So if some of those people end up in your district somehow, then you haven't, then
Before at all, because there was no commitment to get rid of street encampments. And we had encampments all over the city. So
you aren't getting rid of homelessness. You're just getting the homeless people off the street. You aren't getting them cleaned up. You aren't getting them jobs. You are just getting them out of their tents, away from these places.
I would ask for people's trust in the sense that we have absolutely made progress. We know what we need to do now to end street homelessness. We need to end the failed policies of the past, which is all we're going to do is focus on building, and we are going to ignore street homelessness. That is what the city and the county has done for years, ignored street homelessness.
What is one word that separates you from the other candidates for mayor?
Experience, collaboration. I'm sorry, I had to throw in another. but let me just say though.
Anything
that,
else you want to add?
Yeah.
No, she had to revise her answer because her first answer she knew was
I
garbage.
just want to say, I can't emphasize enough how I have benefited from serving in Congress and in the State House, and that there are multiple examples we don't have time to talk about now that I've had to change federal regulations, federal law, and state law, and I can do that because I know how these institutions work. And you cannot run the nation's second largest city without intimate knowledge, long-standing relationships, and collaboration on every level of government. I have that. based on my work over the years.
Um,
And that is what we're going to need to have at our disposal in moving our city forward.
A lot of people in this city that like you, that respect you, that voted for you, but they're frustrated. They feel like there hasn't been enough change fast enough in the city, and they're not sure if you're up to the task to take it to the next level. What do you say to those people?
Well, what I say is that we have absolutely made progress. I'm frustrated that it hasn't been more. I still will fight for change every single day I'm in this office.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely
how
sure
much do you want to bet she wins?
why anybody would believe that woke Mayor Karen Bass is the change candidate when she is.
They voted her. She's already in office. She's the incumbent. If she was able to pull the wool over their eyes once, she can more than certainly do it again.
A part of the same establishment of Democrats that are the reason why Los Angeles is in the position that they're in today. Okay, if you really want a change candidate,
Yeah. So again, this is like the Bears. If the people truly want this, if the people truly think that this is best, then let them have it. I don't know.
just maybe you should vote for somebody that is not the career politician whose experience and collaboration clearly has not been helpful when it comes to solving the core issues that LA is facing, the core issues that Spencer Pratt is running on. Like, for example, homelessness, right? Which, we just saw Karen Bass struggle to explain why is it that despite her promises that she was going to clean up homelessness, why is it that she has been a complete and total failure, okay? Again, she wants credit for doing the bare minimum. Well, see, we got some people off the streets, even though you still have a ton of homeless people everywhere.
She went into this nonsense word salad about how they weren't addressing homelessness and they were focused on building, but now they're not just focused on building and they're focused also on homelessness. Like,
shooting up drugs, committing crimes, being agents of chaos. It's a complete and total disaster. She's spending hundreds of millions of dollars, and the results are very, very, very suboptimal. And that is the key pain point that Spencer Pratt is running on that I love the most, because his campaign at this point is just purely common sense. And I think that this interview with CNN is a great example of the common sense and why is it that he's now surging, in the polls. It looks like it's going to be between him and Karen Bass. And I really do believe that he has a chance to knock off the woke mayor. Now, it's a slim chance, but if he keeps talking like this, right, if you have enough people who decide they're going to get out and vote, right, for actual change, who knows? We could be in for an upset. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
In terms of the other big issue in the city is homelessness. From a policy perspective, what changes with you in charge?
So I keep countering this, obviously. For me, we don't have a homelessness crisis. We have a drug addiction and mental health crisis because of, I call it super meth. The LA Times likes to call it super pure meth. So super pure meth and fentanyl, which creates mental health crisis with psychosis. So the DEA says LA, 93% is drug addiction. So as mayor, I keep telling everybody, we just need to enforce all the laws that are on the books. And today, the LA Times countered, it's going to be very hard for Spencer to enforce the law because these city council members want to keep the encampments in front of schools and parks and daycares. Well, what these people forget is in these encampments, it's illegal to be naked.
Well, see, but so then what Karen Bass said is wrong in that, well, I guess she didn't say they were wrong.
In front of kids. It's illegal to be pleasuring yourself in front of kids. It's illegal to be shooting up in front of kids. It's illegal to be smoking in front of kids. It's illegal to be naked. It's illegal to steal all the stuff they're doing. It's illegal to defecate in the street. It's illegal to pee. There's plenty of things. As mayor, I'll be able to enforce laws. And again,
so does that mean that you're sending the LAPD into encampments, or what does that look like?
That's not in there. There's no more encampments. They've taken over the streets.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that LAPD can do their job. Right now, they can't enforce any laws. So it's not this idea we need to go into encampments. They're on everyone's streets. They're walking in, they're getting hit by cars. left and right because they're just walking naked in front of the street.
So
yes.
if that happens, then you send, is it an LAPD officer that goes and arrests them? Is that the process?
Here's what people hear the word arrest and they think, oh my God, Spencer's going to
No,
try to put
they're not
all
being arrested. They're being detained.
the homeless people in jail. No, these people need medical treatment, not what Nithya and Karen Bass are talking about.
And where do they
Excuse
go
me,
for that?
Mayor, we have many facilities. Once you get arrested, you go to a court system and they say, oh, this person wasn't a violent criminal. Were under the influence of super pure meth, banging their head into somebody's car window. They clearly need medical treatment. We have a society that's built with structure. I don't invent this. This already is here. They just don't do this because they have the right to experience drug addiction and die 7 people on the street every day.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually the compassionate one running here. I'm saying we're going to get these people help and not just say, oh, they need a bed. We're going to have beds for them that they're going to actually be able to sleep in, not going through withdrawals and needing to be on fentanyl or super pure meth. The problem with the whole system is they're all connected to Social Security numbers. So Medicaid, people think, oh, it's just the feds, the state, the city. There's so many people profiting off of these people just living in misery and dying. And I'm going to be the one saying, we are not letting that. So yes, if you're torturing and abusing animals, that's jail. If you're pleasuring yourself in front of kids, which all day long, parents are messaging me the craziest videos and photos that I can't post because my accounts will get deleted, you will go to jail. And in jail, maybe you end up getting sober and you have a chance to come back into society. But if you come out and you do that again, you go back to jail. We need to be a society of laws that we have. I don't want to add one law. We have plenty of laws that functioning cities enforce. Look at Beverly Hills. This isn't happening in Beverly Hills. You can go have dinner there.
Why do you think that is?
Because they enforce their laws.
Yeah.
There's plenty of cities around LA that these criminals know.
Well, hold on, because Karen Bass says that every other place in the state has had homelessness increase. So how is it that homelessness is increased in this place and yet their crime is fine?
No, it's like I talk to firefighters and police. They literally can jump over the border. Like, I can do anything here. Oh, over here, they have laws. Over here, LA City, you can do whatever you want. And we need to make sure everyone knows LA City is a city of laws to keep everyone safe, to keep the people that are dying on the sidewalk safe. Yeah. Stop letting them. We're paying over $1 million for needles right now in MacArthur Park. I have a text from Norm at Langer's Deli just asking me to come there Saturday, and he said she lied on the debate. He said after she said I'm not for that, he says they're giving out needles 4 times a day. It doesn't make sense because in my town, when tragically Matthew Perry passed of a drug overdose, what happened to his dealer? We went after his dealer. That dealer goes to prison. We have 7 people dying every day. We're the ones paying with our tax money to give them needles, tourniquets, even alcohol wipes. But those...
Yeah, well, when your solution is to allow them to do drugs, then yes.
Those people don't go to jail. These city people that are
they voted for this. They asked for this.
Our money
they
to
want
kill
this.
people, to kill animals, because these people are on drugs and then harming the animals. So everything I'm saying is common sense. We've just lost it in Los Angeles.
But one of the
Facts. Facts. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, right? Common sense. Common sense. That should be his campaign slogan, right? Common sense. That's what LA needs. Basically what he's saying is that, look, we're not going to allow homeless people to sit on the streets and to do drugs, right? We're going to actually get them real treatment. The ones who are actually violent criminals, okay, yeah, they're going to jail. Now, the issue that Spencer Pratt is going to face is that, yeah, I mean, I guess the LA Times is right in the sense that the city council is so woke that, yeah, he's going to have a hard time enforcing the law because they don't want to enforce the law, right? The woke DAs don't want to enforce the law.
Well, it also doesn't address the problem that Karen Bass has, which is, what do you do with the people who refuse services? Do you force them to go into rehab, or is it voluntary?
The woke judges don't want to enforce the law. He's going to have to go up against a system, right? A system of far left radical lunatics who do not want to see this problem solved, because as he pointed out, there are a ton of people, these woke liberal nonprofits, making money off of this, right? And as long as there's a profit motive, right, from the nonprofit industry profiting off of this tragedy, then you're going to have this stuff, right? So I think what Spencer Pratt ultimately is going to have to do, if he wants to be successful, is that he's going to have to campaign against the whole system, right? Not just the problems, but the system in LA that is set up to allow
Well, and that's why I don't think he's going to win. The culture is too established to allow this.
this to happen, because again, as mayor, there's only so much he can do, and I'm rooting for the guy, right? I am sincerely rooting for. I'm hoping that
Because
the
all
citizens,
that's going to do is sour the public's view of him in their eyes, because they're going to be sitting here being like, where is this change? Why aren't you giving us what you said you were promised on the campaign trail? And he isn't really going to have an answer other than red tape and bureaucracy. The rest of the government structure that I can't control isn't letting me do this.
of Los Angeles actually vote for common sense, because that way, I can actually visit LA, right? I can say, okay, I want to go to LA. LA is nice, but when it comes to these liberal cities, I try to stay away. I try to stay away because of the fact that their leadership is so incompetent that they allow things they shouldn't allow, and it's unnecessary chaos that, quite honestly, I just think anybody with common sense should avoid. So I think messages like this are very, 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 very important to spread. I think that Republicans should take a page out of this playbook from Spencer Pratt. He is a breath of fresh air. He's just preaching common sense. Okay, in this issue of homelessness, I think.
Yeah, okay, well, at least half the country doesn't believe in common sense. They believe in humanitarianism
Is a
and
great example of how
egalitarianism.
Democrats have lost common sense, and you're seeing the result of wokeness taken to the extreme, right? When you care more about your ideological beliefs rather than actual real results and outcomes, this is what you get. Right, this is what you get, right? You get meth addicts on the street, and then you get the government basically feeding the addiction because, well, we don't want to be cruel and take them off the streets, right? We don't want to be cruel and put them in a mental institution, right?
No,
So yeah, I mean,
because yes, it's being cruel, but they don't want to take away their freedom. What does freedom mean? Freedom means that I get to sit and shoot up and not care about who's watching me or who's around.
that's exactly what you get. And, Spencer Pratt is speaking out against that. I just feel like it's going to be bigger than just the mayor. Again, he's going to have to campaign against a system, right? He's going to have to campaign against the whole Democrat power structure, the left-wing power structure, the liberal leftist power structure of LA. Again, woke DAs, you talk about the city council, top to bottom, he's going to have to campaign against all of it, to be honest with you. But, again,
Right? Because if these people do go to court, and they go to court, and the judge doesn't sentence them to rehab, just sends them back out on the street, then what happens?
he's a voice of reason, and I'm hoping that his voice continues to be amplified, even if he does not end up being successful in his bid to become the mayor of LA. I believe that he could take his message to the national level, and he probably would find quite a bit of success. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
I don't know. I don't. In Democrat stronghold states, I don't think that there's enough support to actually do that. Maybe nationally, but I don't know what that would do when really what he wants is to change California law so that he can get his house built faster. I guess I don't really know exactly what it is that he's in for, other than, because he said it in this interview, that he doesn't want to be a politician. He doesn't want to be doing this. He sees the failed leadership and feels like, well, if no one else is going to do something about this, then I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and see if I can do something about it. I don't think he has any political ambition. I don't think he has any plans outside of this mayoral race. I, I, I maybe he would does, maybe he would. That doesn't seem like what his plan is. I don't know.